They say beauty is only skin deep. But what about truth? What about trauma? What about healing purpose and power? Welcome to Skin Deep, a sacred space where we peel back the layers, speak the unspeakable, and remember who we were before the world told us who to be. I'm your host, Kiara Charles. And today's episode is one I almost didn't share because forgiveness, real forgiveness, is messy, especially when you have to forgive without an apology. They say forgiveness sets you free, but no one talks about the prison you have to walk through to get there. The grief, the rage, the silence, the ache of carrying someone else's wrongdoing in your own bones. I was 15 years old, caught smoking weed in the house with a friend, and instead of grounding me or holding me close to figure out why, because truth be told, I was numbing myself because of the years of sexual abuse I had already endured. My mom sent me to my father's house, a man I barely knew, a man who never raised me, never protected me, yet somehow he was now responsible for disciplining me. And when I got there, we played games and he showed me pictures of his other daughter and told me a bit about her, but he mentioned that her mom didn't let her come over much. After dinner, I got ready for bed. I came over with a twin blow-up mattress because he didn't have much furniture. He told me good night and went in his room, but shortly after, somewhere between dream and wake, I felt him getting into the bed with me, behind me. Immediately after that, he began to take his hands across my chest and he began fondling me. And I froze. My body knew it was wrong before my mind could even catch up. I jumped up and I ran into the bathroom, slammed the door and locked it. My heart was racing so fast that it felt like it might leap out of my body. Then he came after me, pounding on the door, screaming at me to come out. But I didn't. I stayed curled up on that cold bathroom floor all night, shaking, confused, ashamed, and trying over and over again to call my mom, but she didn't answer. In the morning, I heard him on the phone talking to her. I could tell it was her voice. And then I heard him ask, did her stepdad ever touch her? It was like he was trying to explain away what he did to me, as if something about me had invited it. I called her again. This time she picked up. I said, can you please come get me? I just want to go home. And when she finally arrived, I stepped out of the bathroom without a word, walked straight to the car, and all I could think was, I escaped. But my soul, it stayed behind in that bathroom for a very long time. I think about that night often, and I still ask myself, why didn't you call 911 or a friend? Why didn't you scream louder or demand help? I've never been able to answer that fully, but I know it's because I carried a shame so deep that it made me question my own intelligence. I was book smart, everybody knew that, but in that moment, I felt so dumb. I told myself I should have known better. I should have done more. I should have been stronger. But now, I know what happened to me was never my fault. And being young and scared and frozen, it doesn't make you stupid. It just makes you human. I didn't know where to place all that pain. The silence, the freeze, the shame, that didn't belong to me, but it still made its home in my body. I couldn't scream that night. I couldn't fight. I couldn't even cry loud enough. But what I could do was somehow sleep. And in the quiet of my dreams, that's where God met me. That's where I felt safe. Not because the world around me had changed, but because something eternal cradled me in my darkness. So I wrote this for every girl who froze and thought it made her weak, for every soul who escaped to sleep because it was the only place where shame couldn't follow. Straight A spine in college words, but my voice was missing from the verbs. I knew the answers. I passed the test, except the one that screamed, protect. And everyone else failed it too. A father unaligned with his quest plays his own bloodline. The sentence is death. Mama would say, girl, you book smart, but you ain't got no common sense. But I guess sense ain't common when you always on defense. And maybe she was right. Because when it came time for that test, I froze, awaiting my night like a damsel in distress. But they never came. My mind was plagued. Dark thoughts consuming every frame. A heaviness I couldn't shake. A fear I couldn't name. I couldn't scream. My voice had been hijacked. My thoughts jam-packed. At the crossroads of flight or fight, I chose to freeze. Chest heavy, palms sweating, breath lost in a wheeze. In the same lungs I chose to breathe. In the same lungs I used to sing. In the same lungs I used to cling onto sleep. Sleep was the only place I found God, not in a church, not behind a facade, but deep in the dark where the silence stayed and where my soul escaped and where my fears obeyed, where angels held my trembling hand and whispered truths I'd understand. They didn't shout or cast me out. They wrapped me up when I was in doubt. And that's where I met him, in the space in between, where no one had judged what I had seen. He didn't ask me why I cried. He just stayed present by my side. No questions, no blames, no twisted disguise, just mercy reflected through heaven's eyes. He soothed the storm inside my chest and gave my weary bones a rest. He didn't erase the pain I knew. He taught me how to walk it through. He turned my wounds into soft release and gave my nightmares back their peace. In that place, I wasn't weak. I wasn't quiet. I got to speak. No labels, no shame, no false belief, just holy air and soul relief. Right hand to the Father, that's my seat. Silence hums and pain retreats, crowned in light, wrapped in gold, a spirit unbroken, fierce and bold. No past to keep, no echoes of the nights I weep, just love that held me soul to soul and whispered, daughter, you are whole. So if you're still listening to this, I want you to say this affirmation with me. I return to myself. I choose to stay. Even without closure, I rise with clarity. Forgiveness doesn't make me weak. It makes me free. And to the 15-year-old girl in the bathroom, crying, waiting for someone to rescue you, I see you. I forgive you. And you never have to return to that room again. And to the woman I became, and all those listening who kept that story locked in their throat for years, you're free now. Still worthy, and you get to decide and define what your healing looks like. Thank you for going deep with me today. If this episode touched something in you, drop a comment. Let me know you're here. Your story matters too. Tag someone who's still in their bathroom moment. Someone who needs to know that they're not alone. And if you feel led, please like, share, and save this episode, because healing doesn't happen in silence. It happens when we speak, when we listen, and when we dare to stay rooted, stay focused, and stay skin deep. Until next time.